study,
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
The best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Where is Daredevil?
I'm right here. Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated.
We're gonna take this city back.
Over medicated.
In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
Welcome to Diz and Hers, the show about what's happening in the Disney community from his, hers, and your perspective. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Eric. And on today's show, we talk about spoilers in the parks. Do you watch the ride POVs and coverage before you go on vacation? We then follow up with a spoiler-free look at all the new things that's happening down at Walt Disney World that was released this week.
But before we get started, we want to remind you that Diz and Hers can be found on all your favorite podcast platforms and also in video format on YouTube and Spotify. We'd love it if you could head over to Apple, give us a quick review, and let us know what you want to hear us talk about on an upcoming show.
All right, Lauren, so this is the big question because lots of stuff is going down, coming out, really. At the time of this recording, I think it's the big day, the 26th, or
is the big day.
When everything is coming out. There's Cool Kids Summer, and a lot of stuff that goes along with that, including things like the Rock and Roller Coaster retheme. I think Bluey is coming out. There's like a new Jesse's Roundup show at the Golden Horseshoe. So there's all types of stuff going on, and it is all over the internet. But I have a hard time kind of jumping headfirst in. Primarily because we have a trip coming up and I'm not a spoiler guy. I just don't care to spoil everything and know everything that's out there beforehand. And we've never really discussed this before. Lauren, are you into the spoilers?
It depends on the context. If I'm watching a show on TV and it is really dramatic and high stakes, if I just can't take it anymore. But as far as Disney World, I would say I'm more a lurker in the communities and the comments, and I want to see perception from a high level because I am the type of person that I'm strong-minded. I want to make the decision myself if I'm going to like it or hate or whatever, but I do want to know what people are saying. But as far as full POVs, no, I can't. I don't do it. And it's not that I don't support you if you do. My mom is not a big rider, and so she watches every single POV for every ride just to see if she could, tolerate it or not. But I saw Rock and Roller Coaster this week, and I had to swipe up.
Yeah, and that's kind of my thought process on it. And I know there's a lot of people, and that's the big thing for a lot of the coverage. Everybody goes out there and they take pictures of everything. They walk around and show you everything. They talk about Easter eggs and everything that you need to know about it. And I mean, that is essentially a lot of people that aren't going probably want to know this stuff. And I think that is the key for me a lot of the times is a matter of, do we have a trip coming up? Or is it a place that I plan on? Can I wait? Can I hold off long enough? So for our case, we're going in a couple weeks. I don't want to know what's all new with the Rock and Roller Coaster. I kind of want to walk in there and see it myself, but it's impossible to be part of the Disney community and follow this without seeing some things. And
you have to dive head first and know every single thing. But as far as the news, and coverage and stuff, I think that's all fine.
Yeah. I've been, from my perspective, is that, yes, it makes me slightly less of a good podcaster because I'm not in there and I'm not reporting, oh, there's an Easter egg here that you expect this, expect this. I'm kind of going in because at first I'm a fan more than anything. And like, I wouldn't give that up for anything in the world. I don't necessarily need to be like the first breaking of the news and have all this information and have to go in and watch 20 videos to be able to perform. If that's what I have to do to be, a great someone that covers the parks well, I'm not willing to do it just because that gives up the fun that I have walking into something for the first time and seeing it with my own eyes. But I will tell you, there is a lot of scenarios where, like, I'll watch a walk around or a POV for an international park because I don't have it on my agenda. I don't
Same.
plan on going over there anytime soon. I would love to, but I think for a lot of the releases today that's coming out, I have enough information to be dangerous, like you. I've been out on the internet. I've seen some aspects, but I'm not necessarily walking around with my favorite vloggers right now showing everything. So today we'll talk a little bit about that, but I also wanted to find out, like, where do we lie? Are there more people like us or against us? So of course we head over to the internet and I went to Reddit to find out, do other people spoil? Like, are there a lot of people that go online and watch all these things prior to ever going? So did you see the one that I grabbed here from the Walt Disney World Reddit?
Yeah, this is Absy Abby. But didn't butcher that. But she says, my husband and I are going to Walt Disney World next year for a 2-week break from the UK. It's her first time, and she is like really feeling planning. She says she loves watching all the Disney vlogs because it satisfies her excitement and like it's relaxing. I agree with that. But her husband keeps saying that it's going to spoil it for her. So she's asking, will it ruin my trip experience by familiarizing myself with the parks? No, for one, you do you, boo. But what are the people saying?
Well, I think it is fun. It's a nice little mixture. It says some said would hold off on full ride through of attractions, right? Because they can diminish the magic. And I agree with that. If it's a dark ride, I don't necessarily think that because a dark ride, you can get a pretty good POV. Now, granted, you're not getting full 360. You're not getting all the immersions. You're not actually sitting in the physical thing. But, if there's some gags that come out or so forth, it's, in my opinion, that's kind of part of the magic. Is seeing it for the first time and remembering that. So I don't necessarily know if I'd watch a lot of the ride-through attractions. But Reagan Base says sometimes they can be helpful if you have a small child who is nervous of what to expect on newer rides. Not always, though. My kid says she would ride Tron based on the POV video, but once we got there and saw the ride, she didn't want to go on anymore. And once again, then quiet commenting basically came in and says disability is sensory concern. So I think that's
That's
smart.
go-go. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you're I know we're talking about Disney, but like Universal, they have so many screen rides. Like, and if it's gonna give you a headache or make you physically sick, like you need to know what to expect.
Yeah, and I think that's the smart thing. So if you are a nervous rider, like I would probably willingly look at maybe some roller coaster ones just because, like I don't necessarily love heights. I don't necessarily like there's a roller coaster. I believe it was like maybe it might have been at Hershey Park or it was at Kings Island that it's a fine roller coaster, but then all of a sudden they put you right and you stop and then they drop you almost like they do at Hagrid's. And I hate that sensation. I do not like a drop sensation. So if I knew that was the case going in, I might not have done that roller coaster just because it makes me anxious and nervous. So there are elements. I think if you have conditions and or if you're not sure, then unfortunately you have to give up a little bit of that magic and some of that like firsthand experience to say, all right, is this safe for me? So like a point of view, like YouTube video is very helpful for that. But I also think that there are other ways, we're not just talking watching the POVs. We're talking vloggers or people that are kind of experience the park in a day in the life kind of thing and providing it for you. Have you seen any scenarios where it also could help by kind of watching something like that?
Yeah, this I'll turn a geek. Says it used to help with food decisions because they're a picky eater and it helped them to, make the most of their trip. But they were avoiding like the ride spoilers. The original commenter saying like it's kind of gratifying to watch these like Disney vlogs and like walking through and getting familiar. I recently, just within the last year, I do like more of these like food vlogs and blogs. I think that it made a big difference in our trip to California. I've talked about that several times. But knowing what to expect or like some of the best things to try, I am all about a food spoiler. Like over on the Disney Dish, Len's sister Chrissy, she goes to all like the food and wine festivals and flower and garden. And she gives such like descriptive language of like what to get in the flavor profiles and like what to try. Like I am a new Disney like food fan.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can spoil the food because like you have to taste that. So I am all about that, and I typically do like the walk around vloggers, the ones that are basically saying, "Hey, we're gonna go do this thing." They typically don't show you a whole ride. They might just show you snippets, and it's a lot more
Yeah.
commentary. And I'm
Yeah.
good with commentary spoilers. Like I'm okay with saying, "Hey, I really enjoyed that," or "Hey, this was a little slow pacing," or vice versa. That doesn't feel like it spoiled it. Maybe it gives me an expectation going in, and I am strong enough of a human to say like they were wrong, I'm right, or I'm wrong. In that case, like I don't take their opinions as gospel, and it doesn't necessarily sour my experience. I know that, hey, just because you didn't like it doesn't mean that I'm not going to like it.
Right, right. And so, one thing that I will say 100,000% that you should spoil is your hotel or resort. Like,
Yeah, well,
I
sure.
cannot tell you how many videos I personally watch before hitting the book button. And I just got back from Destin with a girlfriend, and we had we have a lot of criteria that we want in a beach vacation resort because you're spending more time there than like if you're staying on property at Disney or in the surrounding area. Like, most likely you're spending time at the park. Well, if you're at the beach, most likely you're spending time at the beach and by the pool. And so the amenities, I think, mean even more. But this hotel that we stayed at, like, it was beautiful online. I looked at the website, it checked every single box. And we got there, and a commenter that left a review, he's like, this is like a 4-star property, but the rooms are like 2.5%. So it's kind of kicking myself for not watching more of the like room reviews. So please, I mean, if you're going to watch anything, do that. And I think the hotels on Disney property I think they're significantly different based on the vibe and like what you're looking for. I mean, what do you think about the hotel vlogs? I don't think you don't watch like that kind of stuff, right?
No, I don't think it would bother me either, though. But once again, if you just throw a mattress on the middle of the floor, I can sleep on it and I'd be perfectly fine.
Oh
I
my
care more
gosh, you're
about the
such a
actual
like
theme park.
minimalist.
Yeah. So
I need
when
it all.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to watch that. I would watch. I think just when it comes down to it, and this is the tough one for me, is the walkthroughs of the park. Like someone that goes into the park and just walks through. And I watch a lot of these, especially we've been, the last 4 months, the Disney Unpacked crew has done these walkthroughs of the parks, and I've been tasked to find the actual videos of where they would be walking because they didn't record themselves. They talk, it's an audio format, and I'm like, all right, I have to give you the video. So I've watched so many of these videos, and I'm like, that is a great way to get the lay of the land, because if you're spending a
It
lot of
really
money,
is.
you're going to want to know where things are, and you can look at a map and so forth. But if you walk and kind of feel like you're there, but boy, that's a tough one, because there is something about the immersion and going there and seeing it for the first time and seeing all this that I'm not sure where I'm at with it. I'm like, if it was a 1-day trip and I needed to really maximize every second, maybe I'd do that pre-planning. But I'm just like, go in and just experience and know that you're not going to be nearly as efficient with where you're at. But
Eric, that we talk about the money though. Like, if this is like your one and done, like by watching a couple videos and being able to save yourself some time, knowing like where you're going and you don't need to, be asking people. I just remember how confused we were when we went to California the first time. We're like, wait, there's a park. It's like connected. Like, this is so crazy.
yeah, I don't know, but what are you paying for? I think you're paying for memories, and I'm just like the first step of walking in and seeing it for the first time with your own eyeballs and not having any expectations. I don't know. I'm pretty anti-spoiler with a lot of that stuff. I wouldn't watch any of the Batu, Galaxy's Edge stuff. Like I listened to it. You could tell me where things are, but I didn't want to see anything until my eyes were actually stepping through there and watching. But nonetheless, I do think there is the governor shows up again. So the governor,
We
whoever
love
you
the
are on
governor.
Reddit, you are on all these threads, but they were on it was the roller coaster subreddit. And they said, I think they're good for assessing whether you want to spend a whole bunch of time and money visiting a park. But once you decide to go, stop watching. I think that's fairly good. Like, if you want to know, like, hey, if I want to know if I want to go to Cedar Point and spend money on this and that, walk and kind of see what's there and so forth, maybe some of those, POVs might actually help to say, all right, is this worth the time and the money? But once you know you're going, then stop and let the immersion kind of kick there. But we want to hear from you guys. What do you guys do? Do you watch the POVs? How much do you get? Do you follow like the vlogs? Are you watching everything going in to get you hyped up? Or are you just kind of going in cold and just trying to take it all in? We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments.
Yes, and when we get back from this break, we're going to take a look at all of the new offerings at Walt Disney World, including the Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets, Bluey, new Courtyard at Hollywood Studios. But before that, there's this.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
And we're back. So on the first half of the show, we were talking all about the pros and cons of spoilers for attractions. In our situation, we opted not to watch any of the POV videos and walkarounds. Instead, we stuck with what's available on Walt Disney World's accounts.
Yeah, so I went through and I feel like it's pretty spoiler free on the official Walt Disney World social media account. So I was hanging out on Facebook and I'm like, they're not going to show you anything that gives away too much. Their job is to promote, right? Their job is basically to get you excited because they want you to pay to come see it. So they're not going to give you the whole shebang, but they are giving you some. And I think anybody that's been online this week or going into this week, it's been Rock and Roller Coaster with Muppets has been the big headline. At this time, you also have Bluey and a lot of these other ones coming out, but mine was just filled with the Muppets. Lauren, what have you seen and what are some of your initial thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Well, for one, everybody's excited. And I just had to, I got to cover it on I Want That Too, the Disney Merge podcast I did with Jim. And because they brought it as far as Muppets merch goes, which got me like really excited. And I did get to see the gift shop and everything. And, I was scrolling in the Facebook groups, and it's to be clear, just opening today as we're recording this to the general public. But we did have DVC previews, pass holder previews, cast member previews. So there's been a lot of talk. And I can honestly say I haven't heard one person that was like, why did they do this? I like the old version better. And again, this is not general public. These are like the Disney biggest, probably fans who've invested a lot of money. So I love seeing all of the people talking about how the touches and how they did it, and it made perfect sense. And they did, like, I did see a couple people say that, like, it didn't feel as intense as the initial, even though the ride system is the
Okay.
same. What about you?
Well, Muppets must make things less intense, I guess, for your emotional brain.
I
No, I
guess.
saw it was good. Firstly, they had like a rock and roll concert last week with John Stamos was there, so I thought that was really cool how they had
Yes.
like this little opening and they had the Electric Mayhem. I saw a lot of people getting their pictures with the Muppets, which is not going to be something that the general public is going to be able to do because there are literal, hands people with hands behind stage talking and so, but I thought that was a really cool experience. And I don't know if that was the AP or who had that experience, but I saw a lot of the pictures there. But I was just checking out online, seeing what everybody else was saying. And like, you're right. The fans online were essentially echoing that same statement. There were a couple, though, that were a little on the fringe. I found one here that says, by Brandon, that says, only Gen X and older are excited for this. Disney, this wasn't the move. You aren't going to make all the money on this ride than previously. The IP doesn't sell merch well enough because kids don't like it. And then Ellen comes back, clapping back, saying, oh, please, children are still watching Sesame Street and still seeing the Muppets. The merch will sell, so will the food. Where do you fit on this? Do you think that, like, I mean, our kids, they're not a Muppet crowd, but I mean, were they there for Aerosmith? Like, I mean, I guess the argument here is, what else were you going to put there? Yes, you could have put some other franchise, but I think the Muppets fit perfect.
Well, I wouldn't have thought they did until, the way that this was laid out. And, a couple people in our community even said that, like, Imagineering hit a home run with this one, with all the little details. But going back to Brandon, we've talked about this before. The Rock and Roller Coaster is let's use a little bit older demographic. It's one of the few actual thrill rides in the Disney parks. And I think you had a lot of unhappy people removing the Muppets Courtyard. And so they're like, we've got this over here. It needs like facelift and we're getting rid of the Muppets and people are mad. Like, can we make some magic with this? And I think they did. And kids are not the ones with the money anyways. So just saying. And I will
And I
tell
mean,
you, when I was talking about like the Muppet plush dropping for the first time in a decade, like everybody was so excited for it. And I know I'm talking in a vacuum because I'm on like TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And these are Disney people, but people were thrilled.
yeah, well, I'm thrilled because the Easter eggs and the gags from the Muppet Vision, like, pre-show is all translated over. So I did not go through every single one, but I do know there are a couple things that are still keys under the mat, which I think is hysterical because you'll see that on your own. There's the Muppet version of Jim Henson's there. There's a lot of the gags that were brought over. I heard the pre-show is amazing. I hear Scooter is great. So I am all for it. This is the thing that I am most excited for. And mind you, I don't ride the Rock and Roller Coaster too often. The one time I like threw my shoulder out, oddly enough, and I was like, well, that's it for me. But I did go on it, I think our last trip, just because we knew this was coming, and I will be very happy to go on this, and I will wait 60 to 90 minutes, and please put me in the queue, let me lounge around. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
But there were
and
a couple
I'm going to go on it too, and I'm not a big
Yep.
coaster person.
Yeah, and so I'm excited to see what's going on, but there are a couple other elements that I thought this was funny. Was Jane basically just says, I wish husband says 72 is too old to go, even though she's healthy. Do you think that's a problem, that there are people that are just like not going to be able to experience? I say just walk through the queue.
Yeah,
Right?
just walk through the queue and then just don't go on the ride. People do that all the time. I just told, a friend of ours to do that at Universal to experience Gringotts. Like it's such a cool, immersive queue that you definitely want to see.
All right, so we're going to move on. Excited for Muppets. Let's move on to Bluey because this is the big thing now. Lauren, what are your thoughts? So just give everybody a heads up. What the heck is going on with Bluey first, and then give us your first opinions.
Yes. So we all know that Bluey first made her grand arrival at Disney Land earlier this year. And so our East Coast friends, everybody was so excited to be getting Bluey at Disney World. Not where I think we thought Bluey would be headed, but Animal Kingdom does need some love. So today, May 26th, Bluey and Bingo are making their grand arrival at the conservation station at Animal Kingdom. And people certainly have thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I think that there are a couple different things. Number one, the big issue with Disneyland was that they weren't a meet and greet, even though they were
Yes,
advertised.
stage
But
show.
here, yeah, it is now a like dance party. So have you seen any of the spoilers on this? Because I've only looked at comments.
No, I've not seen spoilers per se. I mean, it is like a dance party over there. But this comment, Kenny White says, you'll need a virtual queue. Is that real?
Yeah, I think you do, right? You need a virtual queue right now. That's the big thing is,
Like
I mean,
they're
this is going to be
anticipating that
madness.
okay.
Yeah, it's going to be. Well,
Okay.
there's not going to be the biggest arguments was, all right, this is over in the conservation station in which you have to take a train. And
Yes.
you also can't take, I don't believe you can take your stroller. I always parked ours. So I maybe you could take your stroller, but there's lots of little kids that need strollers. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of strollers over here and just kind of a mess. And then if you've taken the
Okay.
train, then you got to walk that whole path back there. I just think it's going to be limited capacity over there. So I'm very curious to see how this goes, but I would imagine like you don't want to get all the way there and find out it's a 90-minute wait. So I think a virtual queue actually makes a lot of sense here, and I don't know how long that'll work or last. But that's the big thing. The other question that just kept coming up was, is the animal care teams and like the wellness check procedures, like, is that still around? Meg Hahn says pretty sure that they still have the vet windows there, but I was looking and I don't know. I don't know if they're all masked up or not. But we did go yesterday, which is a couple days ago for everyone out there. They did have previews, and we did
Yes.
find on Walt Disney World subreddit basically a preview. So you want to kind of give a synopsis
Eh,
of some of the stuff that we see here?
Yeah, this is not the only thing I've heard about this very same thing, but it's just that it wasn't planned out well, that it's taking place in the middle of a room and not like a dedicated area for this. So everyone just kind of huddles around, making like a, they say human circle, while the kids interact with characters and do games in the middle. And it says the execution is on par with something at an elementary school that they would put on in a gymnasium, not a theme park. What's worse is the line to get in is also in the middle of the room. So you watch the entire thing first before it's your turn to do the same exact thing. So,
That's awful.
yeah, they go on to basically say that the kids seem to enjoy the games, but it just seemed like it was thrown together without a ton of polish, and like they kind of expected better from Disney, especially because this is going to be so popular as a part of Cool Kids Summer. I also have heard people say that, Conservation Station was not the place to put Bluey, that like they deserve their own like special, setup, unless this is a temporary attraction.
Yeah, I could see that being the case. When I was searching for comments and concerns, lots of people asking about where the animals went, the petting zoo area. Lots of people are asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of complaints about the animation, which we know is being relocated, but it's also being
Yeah.
altered and adjusted. So we won't open up that can of worms. But more videos will be
Yes.
coming out. By the time you're listening, you will be able to probably watch a full show of Bluey. And I'm sure the kids, these are adults and these are the diehards critiquing. The kids will not care and the kids will be very happy. So I think the last thing, and I wanted to find out how long, it's about 10 to 15 minutes, says the red herring 23. So thank you for giving us up that update. But
And
I want
I
to move.
do, I mean, like when we're going in a couple weeks, like I want to go over there and just check it out. Like obviously we are not going with kids for this visit, but I just want to see what the lay of the land is.
Well, the good thing is we won't be the only weirdos without kids going there. I promise you that. So, all right. So
People
this
love
is,
Bluey. Adults
yeah,
love Bluey.
yeah, sure. There you go. I mean, we're not going to be looking weird at all.
I might wear my Bluey shirt. Just
There,
saying.
I will be perfectly fine wearing my normal castle shirt, or maybe something Lion King, because this is Animal Kingdom and that is the default role of the dad. Lauren, I'm more excited about this than I thought I would be. I did see some of the pictures, so I didn't go any walkarounds. This is the one that I was avoiding spoilers because I think this is where I'm going to nerd out the most. And this is the Walt Disney Studios Courtyard, which is opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I am jazzed.
I mean, what has you so excited specifically?
Listen, I love an Easter egg and I love uh like the old cartoons. So I'm a Disney history nerd, so I enjoy that stuff. So when I saw like Sir Hiss from Robin Hood statue sitting on like a ledge, and I'm like, holy cow, they are bringing like all these old characters. And then you look, what I really enjoyed is that for those familiar of the handprints and the footprints in front of the Chinese theater, they have this over in front of the animation courtyard, but with our characters, like the animation characters. So like they had Big Bad Wolf and Oswald and all types of these other characters. And I think that was just super clever and cute and fun to go around and match that. But all types of things. Like, I think it looks amazing. What's your general first thoughts?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it does look amazing. I love the Sorcerer Mickey hat, taking a page out of, the animation studios in California, which is an Eisner touch, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And I do. I mean, the pictures, everything is really, really cute. And it looks like the people are embracing this. The initial press release and the information being shared, people were frustrated because of the the cast members being taken away and being replaced by Olaf to do the actual drawing. But as far as aesthetics, I mean, like, I think that everybody is saying grade A.
Yeah, I've only saw good things there, and I mean, granted,
And it
we'll have
looks like Disney quality. Like, it looks really well done.
right, right, and I feel like they turned this around quickly. Now, maybe it's just
Yeah.
because we haven't been to the park for a while, but I knew there was a whole bunch of walls. But this looks amazing. Everything, like, I love the idea of Pluto's Corner. There's a history nod there. But I was watching yesterday Rapunzel and all types of walk around characters. It felt like Disneyland, where there were just walk around characters,
Yes,
and they were
yeah.
like circling
Didn't you
and
say
playing duck
Rapunzel was
duck
like
goose.
playing games with the kids?
Yeah, yeah. So
That's fun.
I think this is going to be a home run. And man, Hollywood Studios, when you think about it, you got the Muppets, and now you have this aspect. I'm like really excited to go to this park and check out
It
just the
needed
aesthetics.
it though, right? Like, I
Listen,
just felt like it needed like something else, like a little zhuzh.
yeah, well, I mean, nobody was really like the Star Wars area over there. The whole campus and the launch bay was not a pretty sight. There was nothing there really worth seeing, and
It was sad, right?
it was right.
Like,
Once
I
they got rid of the
remember when they had
Jawas, it
the
all went
Jawas.
down.
Like, that was
Right.
the best thing Disney did. Like, I loved the era of Disney when we had the Jawas there. You had several different meet and greets. That's when, Frozen was the Frozen sing along was in a different place, but they had you want to build a snowman with actual snow. Like, there were some like really, really good things happening. And I think that they've just been resting on Galaxy's Edge, for the last couple years.
Yeah, I think. Well,
And I
that's
mean,
what
we
it.
did get Grogu in
Yeah,
Smuggler's Run, right?
yeah, and that kind of like there's a lot of stuff that's going on that we don't have the time to talk about today, but
Yes,
we
yes,
will
yes.
revisit, like Soaring Over America, the
Yes.
Mandalorian Grogu. There, like we
Yeah,
talked
there's lots
about Big
going
Thunder,
on.
so there's some updates there. Buzz Lightyear had a big update. The whole Jesse
Yes.
show just came out of nowhere, like so there are some
Yeah.
advance, and I
Well, I
think
think
there's a
that
new
one they're
kids.
waiting. They were waiting because, like, I did a video on like the Five Below line, and I'm messaging Jim, and I'm like, it's all Jesse. It is all Jesse. And I think they probably did not want to like spoil the premise that Toy Story 5 largely revolves around that
I
character.
feel like
Maybe
that's
that's
been
why they
out for a while.
waited.
Yeah, I don't know. But I looked at a little bit of that today, and it's not. I thought it was a dinner show. It looks like it is like they cleared the stage, and it's like a dance like variety show. So
Oh,
we'll,
like,
we'll
okay.
yeah, but we'll know. But by the time you listen to us again, we can come back with a spoiler show if you enjoy the spoilers. But we need to know, do you like the spoilers? Do you not? And then you let us know. And maybe it's one of those things where we just put out a bonus episode for just those who like the spoilers. But I think that's it for us today, Lauren. I think we're out of time, and we got to get ready for a vacation.
Yes. Okay. So that's it for today. For more, make sure you're heading over to DisneyandHers.com. There you'll find articles, updates, and episodes. And if Disney is your vibe, be sure to subscribe.
And remember, watch what you say online. You might end up in next week's episode. Thanks for listening.